Hello, this is lesson 25. We're going to be learning about listing factors of whole numbers. Now, we learned what factors are. Factors are numbers that are multiplied together, such as 6 times 3 is 18, so 6 and 3 are factors. So here's our definition of factors. You may have this already written down. If not, go ahead and do that. Numbers that are multiplied together are called factors. Now, when we list factors of numbers, we are listing all of the possible numbers that can be multiplied together to equal the number that we're given. So here's our first example that I'm going to show you. Factors of 6, for example, are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Because these are all the possible ways that I can multiply two numbers together to equal 6. 1 times 6 is 6, and 2 times 3 is 6. So that's how we find factors. We have 1, 2, 3, and 6. Now it is very important, I'm going to point this out, it is very important, they have to be in numerical order. You have to list them from smallest to largest using commas in between. If you don't use your commas in between, it becomes 1,236. That's incorrect. You must have commas, and they must be in numerical order. So we're going to go ahead and look at example 2 together. I'll work this out with you, unless you want to go ahead and get ahead. The factors of 20. Now I'm going to show you my thought process behind these because this is very important to be able to pay attention to. And if you're not already comfortable with this, you can realize, okay, what do I need to be thinking? How can I figure out all of the problems that equal 20? Because we can start thinking of random ones off the top of our head. But I want to be able to get them in numerical order. So this is what I'm going to show you. I usually start out with, okay, I'm listing factors for 20. So there's 20 written down, and this is a list. One number that we know that is always going to be a factor is number 1. 1 is always a factor of every single number. So we're always going to start with 1. Always, always, always. Because we won't ever have the factors of 0 written down. Although 0 times anything is 0. So that's not even going to be a problem. You're still always going to have 1 as a factor. Then I'm going to ask myself, okay, what about 2? Is 2 a factor of 20? Well, 20 is an even number, and 2 is a factor of every even number because I can multiply 2 times anything to get an even number. So 2 is a factor. Is 3 a factor? Can I do 3 times anything to equal 20? I can do 3 times 6 is 18, and 3 times 7 is 21, so I can equal 20 with 3. Now, what about 4? I can. 4 times 5 equals 20. So there's 4. And I said 4 times 5 equals 20. Now, this is the fun trick, and this is actually the shortcut, because, of course, mathematicians are indeed lazy. So this is a shortcut. 4 times 5 is 20, and 5 goes right after 4. Now, whenever I do list my factors, they're always going to have a partner. They're always going to match. So the ones right in the middle together that match, 4 times 5, now I just need to find my other partner for 2. 2 times what is 20? Well, that would be 2 times 10 is 20. So I have my partner for 2. Now I need my partner for 1. 1 times what is 20? 1 times 20 is 20. And there's all my factors. I didn't even have to really count past 5. I didn't have to ask myself what 6 was, or 7, or 8, or 9, or 10, or 11, or 12. I didn't have to worry about any of those. All I had to do is say, okay, is 1 a factor? Yes, of course, it's always a factor. Is 2 a factor? Yes, because it's an even number. Is 4 a factor? Yes, because 4 times 5 equals 20, and 4 and 5 are right next to each other. So since they meet in the middle, then I just have to branch out. So it's kind of like a, I don't know what you could look like. It's like a lot of smiley faces, or maybe an umbrella, or maybe it's a triple chin. I don't know. It's going to look different, but they're always going to connect. They're always going to have a partner. And that's how you get them in numerical order, from smallest to largest. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try example 2 then by yourself, kind of knowing that thought process on the fastest way of doing it and how to think of it, of listing the factors. You're going to list the factors of 23. So go ahead and do that in your spiral. Factors of 23. Well, I'm going to start This is what I'm listing. 1 is always a factor. What about 2? No. 3? No. 4? No. 5? No. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're actually going pretty far. So, one thing I can actually tell you right away, I don't know any other multiplication problems that equal 23 because all I have is 1 times 23. That's it. 1 and 23 are the only factors of 23. Pretty simple. Example 3. This one asks which is not a factor of 30. 2. Well, 2 is a factor of every even number, so is 30 even? It is. Yes, of course. B. 3. Well, 3 and 30 is 3 times 10. 4. And 5. Well, I do 5 times 6, but I can't do anything times 4 to equal 30. So, C is my answer. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at the practice set, and I want you to do these 2 problems by yourself. It should take you very quickly, hopefully. Letter M says 2 is not a factor of which number? Again, like I said, 2 is a factor of every even number. So 236, 632, 362, 263. Which one of those? And letter N, 5 is not a factor of which number? Now we know that all numbers that are divisible by 5, meaning they can be divided by 5 without having a remainder, end in 0 or 5. So that should be able to make your answer for letter N very simple. And we'll go over listing more factors with your favorite numbers actually in class. So thank you so much for listening.